You know, one of the things I despise the most is when you speaking your truth or you just speaking on how you feel about a situation or things that you see. You just adding commentary, things of that sort. You're not complaining because this is the first time you mentioned it, or you're coming from a space of just getting something off your chest. And this is the form that you choose to do it. And this could go for like any kind of thing, like social commentary, speaking on YouTube, just speaking to a family member, a friend, a loved one, anything of that sort. You just expressing yourself in any kind of situation, anything that may happen. And the thing that really just irks me is when people say, "Who hurt you?" You know, when people think that the place that you're coming from is a place of hurt. And I think that's just one of the most debilitating things that happens to us that can never happen is when people say, who hurt you? That dismissive mindset, that dismissive way of thinking is so unproductive because you automatically shut down that person, and now you shut down your brain from opening up and trying to receive what this person is saying, you know? And when you're dismissive like that, you don't have the opportunity to let an idea shine. You don't, and, and I should say, when you're dismissive and you're not coming to it with the open mind, you're missing out on something that could potentially help change your life. But a lot of reasons why people are dismissive to other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions is because they don't want to have to face their truth. Again, a lot of times people are running away from their truth. That's why they'd rather shut you down. Imagine you just speaking on relations of men and women, right? And the man is just speaking his grievances and how he feels. The first thing a woman or a man, I guess now these days, is going to say, "Who hurt you?" Which is completely dismissive of how he feels. And it could be nobody who's hurt him. It could just be observations that he's seen, throughout living. And these observations he wants to make it known to the public to see if anybody else feels the same way and if there could be a collective way to change and move these situations. But the reason why people may say, "Oh, who hurt you?" is because those are the probably people who hurt other people who feel the way that this person has felt. Or they're not even emotionally intelligent or emotionally available to tap into themselves because they're probably hurt as well. Somebody hurt them, but they told them, "Hey, men don't have emotions, or people don't have emotions, or whatever the case may be, bottle it up, and hold it on the inside. And anybody who doesn't is weak." And I think that's just so destructive. Like I said, it's debilitating. How can we move forward with that frame of thinking? We can't. And I want to break down the part about, when people ask who hurt you, because it gets a little bit deeper. Because I remember one time I was having a conversation with a female that I was talking to at the time. And it got a little heated because she asked me, "Who hurt you?" And I was like, I don't know if it was about me or about somebody else, but I remember the conversation or my reply. And it was that maybe somebody did, but why ask the question in that sense as if it's invalid that somebody hurt you and that you should not have a response? Why do people invalidate that? Meaning, to me, it's more of a shock saying, "Who hurt you?" more so than "How did somebody hurt you?" As if people don't hurt other people. As if it's a crime for, you to be hurt, or you to have been trespassed upon, or you to have some injustice put upon you that you didn't ask for. So it's wrong to talk about that, and we're not coming from a victim mentality. You can be a victim and have a victim mentality. Those two different things. Because the victim mentality is how you carry yourself. So the place that I was speaking on, whether it was about me or another part, a third party, it wasn't that it was coming from a victim mentality standpoint. It was just that that person was a victim, whether it was me or them, that person was a victim and being hurt by someone, and it took an emotional toll, however large, small, whatever the case may be, it took an emotional toll on that person. And they're just airing their grievances. They're just airing out what happened to them. So I have a firm belief when people say, who hurt you? Those are either people who hurt other people and don't want to be responsible for their actions and, and they don't want to be conscious to their actions. Or those are the same people who are also hurt, but they've covered it up. They've masked it up. Like I said, we can't have any kind of forward progress when we have this frame of thinking, this who hurt you mindset, this dismissive mindset. The first thing they do is call you a simp, a panderer, when you open up your mouth and say something that doesn't go against the rhetoric that they've been ingesting this whole time. Because their means of having relations was such on a whole low-hanging fruit level that now when you try to raise the consciousness, when you try to raise the standards, when you try to raise certain things, they dismiss you. And saying you a simp, you a panderer, instead of accepting the challenge to grow. Instead of coming to it with an open mind frame, open mindset, to see where somebody's coming from. That's why I constantly say a lot of black men are not going to make it. I used to say that concept about women, but statistically, by the numbers, a lot of them wasn't going to make it. That's a whole different conversation about something else. But like I said, I see a lot of men now taking on the role of a woman. So if you're not receptive to what your brother is saying, you are bound to fall into the same trap he did. I remember Malcolm X said the same thing. He said, don't laugh at your brother when he makes a mistake because you could fall into that same trap yourself. And it was a point in time that you were ignorant to the truth as well. So how dare you laugh at your brother? How dare you make a mockery of your brother? How dare you? Because the ones who's laughing now will be crying tomorrow. Again, the ones who's laughing now will be crying tomorrow. You know what I have a firm belief? I have a firm belief that people was dismissive of what Jesus was saying when he came. If that whole story about Jesus is true and things of that sort, we're not going to get into that. But I believe they was dismissive to Jesus because he didn't look the part. You know? When Jesus came down and he was doing what he was doing, and somebody said, oh, this the prophet, this the guy, this the whoop, this God's child, whoop, whoop. And then folk like, hi, quit playing. And I'm break this down in the modern terms. He pulled up in a bucket. And they felt like this ain't God's child. How this God child and he driving a bucket? God ain't gonna let his child come out here in no bucket. He gonna have the new Benz with the new Jordans on and the Amiri on with the diamond shining with the Baccarat smell good on. That's God's child. That's how he coming. I don't know who this nigga with these threads on and these flip flops on. Who is this? That was dismissive. They didn't open up their mind because it didn't fit into their framework, or they didn't want to challenge their framework, their mental capacity, their mental state to something different. And you miss a blessing. That's what I'm gonna name this one. Being dismissive can cost you a blessing. You got your old lady, or women, you got your man, and they trying to tell you something. You know, you just being a shoulder to lean on, it, open ear. And the moment that you close up, the moment that you become dismissive to what they got going on, they through with you. Especially in this day and age when it's hard for people to even open up, they through with you. And that's how I feel sometimes about telling the truth to people. When people become dismissive, I'm through with you. I'm not saying that the door is closed with a lock on it, but as far as trying to open up that door to open up your mind, it's through. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So what's the point of trying to force feed somebody who don't even want to be receptive to what you're doing? You now casting your pearls before swine. You know, it's the truth that a lot of people not gonna make it. That's why when people are dismissive to the truth, you release your hand from it. You release your hand from those situations. What good or what point is there you still keeping your hand in them situations? For what? And this can be applied to any and every situation. Let's look at it from this angle with the black community, you know, and the real black fatigue, not black people being tired of black people, you know, acting ignorant and rambunctious. No, I'm not talking about that. But real black fatigue, the strife and the struggles that black people go through every day in this country, being a black person. If we look at it from that angle, how people are dismissive of that, of how black people feel every day, and this and this and this, and with the struggles we go through and the strife that we go through, if people are dismissive of that and don't want to listen and don't want to come together and help us build something or build different infrastructure in order to facilitate a better living environment or whatever the case may be, if people are dismissive of that, don't get mad when we go away for a while and we start working on us and we come back. And put ourselves in a position to where even you being dismissive has no effect on us. And like I said, we don't have to close the door or put no locks on no doors or say you're not allowed here. No, no. Because on an energetic level, when you change, when you different, when you're on a whole different energetic vibe and frequency, certain people not going to be able to hang with you. Side note, that's when people ask me, would you ever take an ex back this? I say, if they haven't not, you know, gone too far. Some people go too far, you know, when they break up with you, whatever the case may be. But if somebody didn't go too far, sure, why not? Because at the end of the day, if you level up vibrationally, they're not going to be an energetic match no way. So it's up to them to be able to keep up. If you've grown, if you've healed, if you raised your vibration, it's up to them to match your vibe frequency, your vibe and your frequency. It's up to them. So if they don't match, they're going to be gone as quick as they came back in. So it don't matter. And if you're on the same level as you was when they left, guess what? You're going to get the same result. But back to being dismissed or being dismissed. Like I said, this is stem as a child. I used to hate being dismissed because I knew it was a truth that I was trying to convey to a certain group of people or parents, whatever the case may be, and I would be dismissed. And I knew as a child why I was being dismissed, because certain people did not want to face that truth. A lot of people are afraid of the truth. Therefore, being dismissive of that truth, being dismissive of that person is going to rob you of a blessing, because a lot of times that person that's trying to tell you that truth, it is coming from a deep and sincere place, and sometimes those words are coming from God, and this person is just the medium. Just like you walking down the street and your shoe's not tied, and some old person say, "Hey, tie your shoe before you fall and bust your face." And now you dismiss it from that, but not knowing that God has told this person to tell you this. We must take heed to warnings. We must take heed when other people talk to us. It don't mean that you always accept it. You must have discernment and filters and things of that sort. But you never know where these people are coming from, what's on their heart, what's their intention, and who sent them. But we're never dismissive to the things that make us comfortable. But the things that make us comfortable, a lot of times, are the things that's holding us back and keeping us in these positions that's not doing anything conducive for us. That being dismissive, it's a trigger. It means something struck a chord, something struck a nerve. It's a response. You have to pay attention to it. It's like a knee-jerk reaction, somebody, pinches you or pushes you or whatever the case may be, you just pop. It's the same thing. Somebody says something that doesn't align with the way you think, the way you feel, your narrative, it challenges those things. It's like a knee-jerk reaction to be dismissive. Shut them down. Shut them up. Because now you would be in a vulnerable position for you to start challenging your thought, your mind frame, how you think, how you feel, how you move, your ideology. So in order to protect yourself, they become dismissive. Like I said, how conducive is that? Who hurt you? You must be simping. You're a panderer. All these are dismissive things that people will say. And what do they say to women? Oh, you a pygmy. They're calling women pygmies because they're speaking the truth. And they bring them down and denigrate them and call them pygmies because now it challenges their mind frame. It challenges their mindset. The one deep down inside they know is wrong. People know right from wrong. People know how to treat people. For the most part, they should. But the reason why they don't is because they're not big enough. Their spirit's not big enough. They haven't healed. Those people that's dismissive, those people who are scared to grow, those people that'll shut you down, they're small on the inside. They're scared. They still that little child that got hurt. Those people that run away from the truth, that run away from pain, they still hurt. Imagine if your child came to you about something serious that was on their mind, their heart, how they felt about something, whatever the case may be, and you just dismissive. How you think your child gonna turn out? Healthy? Ha, that's funny. They're gonna grow up with some traumatic issues. They are going to be avoidant as an MFer. They're gonna be avoidant as hell when they grow up. They're gonna avoid deep connections. They're gonna avoid deep, intimate relationships. Everything that they have will be shallow and superficial, looking for validation. Why? Because you was dismissive of their thoughts, feelings, and emotions when they was a child. So because they've been taught not to have that, they've been taught to dismiss that, they've been taught to be avoidant of these things. Guess what? It carries on to their child, until their adulthood. Again, why do you think so many adults now are avoidance? Because they was dismissed as a child. When you've been dismissed so long, you find no reason to be present. You find no reason to speak your truth. The ones who bark the loudest are hurt the most. When it comes to being, when you speaking your truth, the one who speaks, when you speak your truth, the things after that, the one who speaks the loudest is the one who hurts the most, who's hurt the most. When you say, what can we do to improve the black community? The first thing a guy gonna say, it's the black woman's fault. There you go, being dismissive to the truth of being able to take accountability of this, of being a leader. When you say, hey, black women don't have an incentive to be loyal to black men. Oh, there he go being a simp. There he go being a pander. There y'all go being dismissive. They're actually ingesting what a nigga saying. So now you're going to miss out on the blessing what a nigga was really trying to tell you to improve your life, to really have something, have some infrastructure, really have something going about yourself for a woman to be loyal to you. Past just skin color. Past just because you handsome. Past just because you attractive. That's why when they say only a remnant is going to make it, I highly believe that. Only a remnant will make it. But the rest of the people, I don't think so. And this don't mean that they're going to pass off or anything like that. But as far as making it to a life of where, you're on a different plane, different level of consciousness, different level of peace and happiness, really receiving blessings from God, really moving and shaking throughout the world and the country and really making a name for yourself, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. They are not going to make it. When you're dismissive of growth, you're not going to make it. You're going to miss a blessing. Like I said, being dismissive can cost you a blessing. You could be in a relationship right now, men, and your lady could be trying to tell you something. How she feel. This, what she been through. She trying to open up to you. But you being dismissive of what she's saying, you shutting her down, you might miss a blessing. She might have been sent from God, and now you're not going to have that no more. And same thing, ladies. You might have a guy, he's trying to open up to you, tell you this, tell you that, woo, 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 be open with you, and you shut him down. Who hurt you? Psh, you might miss out on the blessing. Black community, it might be somebody trying to tell you something, this, how to move, how to do this, with it from a different mindset, from a different mind frame, from a different angle, vantage point, and you shut him down. You call him a simple pander, or this, and this, and this, you might be missing out on the blessing. That's all I'm saying. Being dismissive can cost you a blessing. Anyway, this is your favorite cousin Rich. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Y'all be safe out there, all right? Love and blessings.